Author's Press.
Hi everyone, today is February 2nd, 2022. My name is Nicole Richardson and I'm from Author's Press. I'm gathered here today with Tori Ellison, the author of Attributes Peculiar in Nature. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tori?
Yeah, I'm from down south, Florida, and I'm a person that you can get along with, and stuff like that. Approachable person, and as an author, this is my first book I wrote. I have inspiration to write more, and I'm right now in the process of having other books that I in the process of finishing up and stuff like that. And I am like an inspirational writer, a realist writer, and I study what I write and I meditate on what I write, and I have an off the flow when I write. My intellectual side is very very treasurable, those type of thoughts that's involved in my writing and the message that's in my writing come from a place where I was raised up as a child in my childhood, and those that I learned from. They had a very ritual type place how they taught all of us as growing up. Just as a person, I'm just optimistic, very optimistic in what I'm trying to do and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that's the best thing you can do is have an optimistic point of view. Could you tell us a little bit about your book, Attributes Peculiar in Nature?
Attributes Peculiar in Nature became it's some talents that was inside of every human being that's living and willing to search themselves. The principle in morality, and even just knowing the talents of who you is as a person, like you find yourself doing things and you surprise yourself by doing things, that's come out your attributes. So I had a inspirational will to write this book, and the book is just for eventual readers who searching themselves and searching more of themselves to find certain things that they is inspired by, motivated by, and willing to reach that pinnacle, that pedestal goal that they set for themselves. What this book is about: experiences and explaining experiences, and try to get readers to find that certain thing that was in themselves, not just by reading the book, but applying what's in the book to themselves, to seek themselves and bring those type of attributes out. That's what this book's all about. This a good book, and I prefer using it and reading the book.
Yeah, I've mentioned before in other interviews that I've written a couple short stories myself, but generally I prefer poetry books, and I genuinely think that this poetry is better than even authors who are super popular nowadays. Like, I would pick up your book compared to Rupi Kaur, for example. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but I would leave that book on my shelf till the end of time compared to yours. I really would. It's way better. I noticed that some of the poems are more geared for male readers, but that doesn't stop me from connecting to it.
Right. It's taken from my point of view, but it's for everyone. You know. Anyways, I explain it from my side, and wrote it from my side, but it's for everyone because we all human beings. It's not a different side. It's equal because of human being and morality. What morality, respect, and just as from a female side, female is very smart and very wise themselves and things like that. Even though we have different interests and stuff like that, but at the same time, everyone has those attributes of caring and striving and trying to know certain things and stuff like that. That's where it come in. The information, the data that is given for someone to take and take that data, take that information and apply it to themselves and really, if you can inspire somebody's thoughts in a way, and you can probably make that person, bring that person from a place, or sometimes we deal with stuff, sometimes we challenge with things. You can bring that person from that challenge and bring and enlighten that person where that challenge that they're facing, they'll find an answer somewhere because we find an answer in the experience. As we go, we find out how to deal with certain things and how we supposed to do certain things. And by inspiring someone in that matter, you can get that person an answer just from just reading or even having a chance to talk with you or whatever. You know, that's a good thing about letting yourself be available, even through a book or even through conversation if you're in the midst of someone.
Yeah. So, I know that you've already briefly touched on this, but what would you say is the main message you want to get across to your readers?
The main message I'm trying to get across to my event readers is to believe in yourself. It's always something, even though the world has its challenges and the problems and tribulations and so far as even the good side, but we have fun and we sometimes we don't take notice of certain things. We so hasty, we speed without paying attention to certain things. It's just all about just being conscious, allowing your event reader to be conscious of their surroundings and at the same time, it's all right to have fun, but being conscious of why you having fun and being alert and stuff like that, and you know how to have fun, and you know how to, even with the challenges, you know how to, anything you're challenged by, you can be composed at the same time you're challenged by certain things, and also at the same time being able to react in the first response to it. It's just a message of consciousness, awareness, and enlightenment. And at the same time, being able to know how to search yourself and bring those attributes about your person, who you is. It's just the attributes that's in your soul, the talent that's in your soul, what you're capable of doing if you just believe in yourself in the proper manner, how you're supposed to believe and not being hasty or fading away. And believing in any of those different moments. Moments is in moments that where we either lose ourselves or we improve ourselves in those moments. That's the message that I'm trying, that this book have to offer right now.
What makes you feel successful as a writer right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
I think I have what it takes because I have a bright future of being a writer because it's
Yeah.
genuine in me and things like that. So I don't have no problem by writing. I can write about anything. If I sit and I meditate and I see it and I understand, I rest, even not having the pluralistic ignorance, seeing far by looking at stuff, but getting engaged and getting to know what I'm looking at and getting what I know, what I'm trying to know, I can write about it if I have the information about it.
Okay.
So that's not no problem in that area. That's right on.
All right. So how old were you when you wrote your first book or your first story?
My first story I wrote, I actually was my poetry that I wrote. I was like 24, 25, and I had entered into a poetry contest, and I became a nominee just playing around. I started as an artist. I was writing lyrics at first, then went over to poetry, and I wrote a couple poems, like 14 poems. I entered into a contest, and they picked out the poem "Where Are You Going?" And that poem that made me a nominee choice of all competitive poets at that time. That was in Orlando and things like that. That inspired me by having that achievement doing that. It inspired me to eventually write a book that I have now.
Okay. Would you say that Attributes Peculiar Nature, is that a standalone or is it a part of a series?
I think it's a standalone. Not being overconfident about it, but it's a standalone by what the purpose of this book is all about. About inspiring many who become event readers of their attributes, be interested in their attributes, and that's a learning thing that we learn talents like playing football, basketball, or even going off becoming even on the academic side, even trying to be somebody academically, by having your composure and the wits that you need to have and understanding yourself as a person. All that come at your attributes. All is a attitude that's learned. Now, some is something that some things that it become natural to you to do. But understanding when you do it, like you understanding how you're doing it and why you're doing it, not just doing it and know you're doing it, but knowing the meaning of what you're doing is a good success and more confident, make you more confident in your person to do more, because you know you got that talent and you know that you got that type of wit to do those things. You know, that's what this book is all about. Just inspiring other people with play and attributes to discover themselves more and being comfortable in the person that you are at present. You can be more who you are.
I think you've already mentioned this, but what would you say is your biggest source of inspiration?
My biggest source of inspiration is if I find something that inspires me, and I see certain things that inspire me, and it takes, and I be heartfelt by it. I take that and that would motivate me more to push me to like, wow, you know. I can do this, man, because certain thing I saw inspired me and gave me an example of what type of which I should display. You know, anything that come about. So it's a big old world out there, and we have many inspirations. And if you just look and see certain things that become a mentor to you or become something like an inspiration to you, those type of things that really inspire you in that type of amount. That's what allowed me to write the way I write, because of certain things that I've been through, that I see in present, and certain things that I'm optimistic about. That was
Okay.
those the things that inspire me.
Okay, I see. What you're saying is that the things that inspire you are the things that inspire you to write are the things that inspire you as a person.
Yeah, that's inspired me as a person also. Yes. It's when you a writer, an artist, author, or anything, even an instructor. There's certain things, certain places that inspire you. Certain, like going to the ocean, like to the beach somewhere, just listen to the waves, and then something that you have on your mind, and just the way, the calmness of that atmosphere, that puts you into a intellectual zone where allow you to have those thoughts that come about, that it's not normal. It's come about because you allow your spirit, your soul, to your attributes, just allow yourself to be free at that time. You know. So those type of like moments, like places, people. Also, if by having a conversation with someone, talking about certain things, advising you in a certain kind of manner, that will inspire you also, because you find your answer in that also. You know, certain things that you do, or certain moments, the way that you think, offer inspiration. You know, that's inspiration is don't have no limit. It's the measure of that is go beyond. It don't have no stop. We don't have no end time. We can live a lifetime on inspiration. So finding things that inspire you, different things.
What would you say was your favorite part of writing this book?
I was enthused just by starting this book. Miss Grinch, she was my public coordinator. Just at the time, you know, she worked with me, and I learned something with my interaction with her, exchanging back and forth, making changes. If you see something, reading over, and she pushed me, and I actually made these poems into the title, and all those poems that's in that book they go with that title, Attribution of Nature, just by her pushing me. Just giving me that push, and it make me go into. And every time I got my manuscript, like I read all my poems. Make sure all the editor was doing the editing job right, things like punctuations and stuff. But I always see some, by reading those poems, it inspired you into more thoughts, and it gave me more deeper thoughts than reading those poems. So I made changes in they put those changes in there, and those poems was enhanced just by the interaction that was at that time, at that moment. And that was inspiring to me. And just when putting the book together and getting the manuscript, and just saying, wow, now I'm a published author, and things like that. My message will get out, and my hope is, my optimistic hope is for many to read the book. It's good information in the book. It's just the event readers, they have to choose to get the book, and it will help. This book is very, very valuable like that, in that manner, intellectual.
Yeah. When I read my copy, when I bought myself a copy and I read it, I was I did not expect it to be as intellectual and as deep as it was, because the word that popped out to me that made me want to buy it was nature, up at the top right corner, I believe, and it curves a little bit upside down. That word caught my attention, and I expected nature poems, and I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that there's so much more than that in here.
Right.
What would you say was the hardest part of writing this book?
The hardest part was making time. The time when you have other things that you involved in. The time was probably hardest, finding time. But at the same time, when I did find time, those times, like that flow, the flow of it, having the flow the right, and things like that. But it really, far as that, the book was a purpose in itself of having a will and still the message, knowing the message that you're trying to get out and stuff like that. That's always going to be a grounded area, because you're sticking to the message, regardless of the time and stuff like that was kept momentarily away, but the message was still there. It was grounded, and just because of that gave the flow of it. Just having that inspiration, knowing the message to give out. But that's about it. Just by being available to continue to write.
So, now I know for a fact you briefly mentioned this one, but who would you say is your target audience?
My target audience is anyone that have a desire of themselves to search themselves, their attributes, want to better themselves beyond their present person, regardless of the age range, any other purpose that one may have. It's available to everyone, and it's just the fact of someone just getting the book and reading, and that's the target audience. It's just the event readers that's out there, that
anyone that could benefit from it, it seems.
And right, anybody can benefit from it. Yes.
Okay, so what does your family think about your writing?
Yeah, my family and people that know me, they're enthused by it. They love it. My aunt, my dad, my brother, my sister, even my girlfriend, everybody, my brothers, um, my nephew, he like a professional person. He played University of Maryland stuff. Yeah, a couple people up that way they liked the book and stuff, and it's like a it's like something that a good achievement that everyone that awards you by, and a good accomplishment by doing such a thing as that, and writing, being able to write in a manner of that type of, on that type of level, and being able to make it available into a book, and it's something that everyone that it'd be a conversation that they give to me when they see me sometimes and stuff like that.
Okay, so it sounds like your family is proud.
They're very proud.
Well, that's good. I just have a couple more questions for you before we wrap this up. So, as a child, did you know you wanted to become a writer?
As a child, that came. I always was a conscious person and spoke in the mouth. My mom, she always how I spoke and my interest of my morality was. She always said I was to be a counselor. So, some people used to love to come talk with me because I listen. I always have an ear to listen, and my response, what the concern, what they shared with me, I always try to find the good in the bad, and trying to relate to what they seeking for and stuff like that, and always give like an inspiration and the positive, so they won't feel the way they felt when they first came to talk to me. So I had that type of demeanor all my teen, like after high school. I had that type of demeanor. I developed that type of demeanor, and things like that.
So, where can readers find out more about you and your books?
Right now, I'm trying to get a. Right now, is I have a. It's on all the sites and stuff right now. All major search engine sites. Or as a author website, I'm trying to build one as present now.
Okay. So, how do you feel about working with Authors Press?
I love Author Press. I love Author Press. I love the people that I'm interacting with, and also everybody that I come a part across to. I'm enthused about. I think Author Press is a good company. Author company. I would like. I'm willing to work with Author Press.
Well, we're excited to work with you too, and we definitely like working with you as well.
Yeah.
So actually, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for meeting with me, Mr. Ellison. It's been an honor to discuss your book with you.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. It's been an honor speaking with you. Thank you for interviewing me.
No
Thank you.
worries. It's actually been really meaningful to me to interview you because I had such a connection to your book long before I even knew I was before I even knew I was doing virtual interviews.
Wow,
I connected
that's
to your
nice.
book. So
That's good.
it means a lot to me to be able to interview you.
Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Nicole. I'm calling you. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, that's very touching right now. Me for myself too.
I heard you say that you're writing another book. Who knows? Maybe I'll interview you about that book as well.
Okay. This more like a novel type book right here. It's like I have like two books that I'm in the middle, in between writing stuff. It's one is it's a biography about my I used to play football and stuff like that, and came from a football family where all the boys had played football and things like that. And I have another one that my experiences when I was up in Tallahassee doing college and stuff like that, and things, the events that happened up there, stuff like that. Those are two books I'm in between writing.
Well, if you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Office Press either through our phone number or via our email. But other than that, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for meeting with me. Like I said, it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
You
Have a wonderful day and stay safe.
You too. You too, Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you.